Is this mine? I hope not.
It's not.
Thank God. I would start on it, and then I would feel like I could be poisoned.
Would you like one?
No, because I have this. I brought one of my concoctions. Now, you're wondering, what do I have in here, Josh?
Okay.
No, you're probably not wondering.
What do you have?
You're probably not wondering. Would you like to know what's in here?
I wasn't wondering, but yeah, what's in there?
Make me really think you're interested. Okay, it's a little bit of like a ginger ale mix.
Yeah,
and then it's got some of that natural honest tea.
Yeah.
Thing, and then it's got some CBD. The CBD, it's stinking with CBD.
Yeah,
which is not supposed to affect me. Like slow down my timing.
All right.
I just want to feel better during
just make your joints feel better.
I want to feel better. I want to feel more relaxed during the podcast.
So ginger ale, honest tea.
Yeah, well, they have pomegranate. It's their pomegranate.
So it's an Arnold pomegranate.
Yeah, and then
see what I did. Like
I don't see what you did really.
Arnold Palmer.
That is very good. If my mind was tuned to that kind of pun.
Oh yeah, you hate puns.
No. I don't. It's not, why would that slam make you sleepy? No, it's okay. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm not telling you that's in here.
I don't really care.
Oh, come on.
The active
come on, you acted for once like you had interest in something outside of the show.
No, I was trying to train you into follow-up questions, but then you lost me.
Well, I'm going to say that because I'm OCD, you can look forward to only about 4 years of me saying every show. Is it running now?
It
Josh?
is running now, yeah.
Remember that time we had a problem?
I do remember that.
Every night.
Okay. Well, if you recall, it wasn't actually the first time we ever had an issue.
Really?
Yeah, on episode 2, it took us 2 meetings to get one episode because the memory card had run out because I was using I accidentally was using a sample memory card instead of an actual one.
Once I like the paper.
So put that down, Perush. Episode 2 was actually 2 conversations spliced together.
He's not even hearing this because he's paused it to go and find the spot. He'll hear it now, right. And he'll go, boy, I can't believe it's like we're communicating. I like raw rolling papers. I don't get paid by them.
Yeah. Raw is a brand?
It's a brand.
Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I used once their demonstration paper, which is like the thing you take out before you use the papers.
It's like the rules of cards in a card deck.
I rolled a joint out of it, and you're not even rolling into paper. You're rolling it into, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, at least you got a story out of it.
You are someone's.
I've had a weird day.
You're filled with spit and vinegar.
Yes.
Have you had what's a weird day for you? Your lawnmower gets misplaced?
Really? Do you want to try that again?
Okay. A weird day for you. What's that? What would you think that I would stereotypically portray you as? You're not an oaf.
Thank you.
Okay, so like if you were an oaf, a jughead-like oaf,
yeah,
I'd say what went wrong? One of your naps came up short, like that.
Okay.
Or you didn't have enough snacks.
Okay.
But you don't have that kind of stereotypical thing.
That's good.
So I can't slam you.
Okay. Well, I can live with that.
But I could see what could be. Okay. Well, business, was it a business? Did you wake up earlier? Was it about waking up at a different time?
No, I woke up, but I had to do an MRI this morning.
Oh, now you didn't wake up and remember. You knew that you had to do an MRI.
No, but it was strange. I didn't obsess about it like I normally do. But it's a whole different ball game because usually my MRIs are to see if I have cancer again.
Right.
You know, this was to look at my back at my ruptured disc, which I already knew was a ruptured disc. So it was like, I knew it wasn't going to like discover something horrible because there's something horrible already there.
Yeah, not horrible like cancer though.
Right. And it's different when it's like bones and structure instead of organs.
Right.
Too.
Why is it different? You feel like it's not
when it's injury instead of disease.
That's right. Disease feels like when they tell you it's disease, you get more worried than they say your clavicle is no good.
The other thing is that it was at like an imaging place. like an office instead of at Cedars where my normal MRIs are, where you're surrounded by disease. You know?
Oh, okay. Well, why am I not? Where were you?
I was at, a imaging office.
Oh, okay. So you
an
felt
independent imaging center.
So you felt less diseased.
It's just less, yeah. I mean,
did you do the usual? Hey, buddy, like try to grill the technician?
No.
You didn't?
What would I grill him about?
You would try to find out. Well, that's right, because again, you already know you're there. Well, the technician might go, wow, that's a beaut. I've seen some herniated discs in my life.
Yeah, he didn't say a word.
Nothing?
And it wasn't even like I usually have to they're like, hold your breath.
Yeah.
Okay, release. But this was none of that.
I don't remember. Oh, that's right. And it always sounds like
organs,
this.
Organs, you have to hold your breath.
Hold your breath. Now, well, sometimes it's pre-recorded on the MRAs.
Yes.
Breathe in.
Yes.
Hold. They look like dress pants. They look like dress pants, but they aren't. They're yoga pants. They look like dress pants, but they aren't. They're yoga pants. I'm halfway through the musical.
That's good.
Case Files, the musical, but they aren't. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
No, I enjoyed it.
Well, it wasn't. Now that's sarcastic. I know. I can tell when you're being sarcastic.
It's a low-level sarcasm.
All right, it's the kind of sarcasm that is not enjoyable for you to report. It's just my attempts were so weak.
Right.
And that's that song.
Well, it was my abdication to I have no yes and for that, so I have to take another posture, which is, yeah, nice.
Well, you know what the thing is, though, Josh, to be totally honest, and I'm going to get back to your MRI in a second, but to be totally honest, okay, so you went in.
Went in.
Wait, that's not in Marina Del Rey, is it?
No.
Okay. Don't say where it is, anyway.
It was near Cedars.
I forget that Cedars is down in, what's that area called? Doheny and...
Like Beverly Center.
Okay.
That area.
Yeah, where the design center is, Choo-choo.
Yeah, see? Yeah, there's your hospital. And your Jews.
Yeah, get some x-rays, see?
Where's your Jews now?
Why do you always go to Jews? Very...
Well, my Edward G. Robinson, I think of the Ten Commandments.
Where's your Moses now? Yeah.
How come we're not getting a matzo ball soup today? Yeah. Where's the matzo ball soup? Stop hawking me. Yeah. All right, I'm sorry. So, why was that? But you said it was weird, though. That's not what was
any
weird.
day that you have to spend, the better part of an hour in a tube is a weird day. That's,
Unless you paid for it. Am I right?
Huh? I did.
Like it was a sexual thing?
Ooh.
Ooh. I said, I don't like the tube. She says, I'm not here for the popcorn. Something like that.
Something like that.
So what's the time? What's going to be the time? Okay, so that's not the only thing that happened today, right? I'm trying to be a good host now. It was a weird day.
Yeah.
I want to get to the bottom of why it was weird. This is what a regular, like a morning zoo guy would do. How's it going, Josh? And you go, I had a weird day. And I say, well, what happened? Well, I woke up and I had an MRI. Sounds pretty crazy. And then what happened?
Then I did another podcast. Did the Meryl Marco and Megan Keister on the other show.
Oh, that must have been fun.
I sent them your regards.
But did you do it on the air? Because I don't, when you send people regards on the air, what I'm hoping.
I think I mentioned you once. I think
I would like the whole conversation to veer.
Well, that wasn't going to happen because it's about their book.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is everything not about me on every interview, ultimately?
The good ones.
Well, are you saying like a sign of a bad interview?
The ones with you all sound like some half-assed Groucho.
Well, you have made me now feel very self-conscious.
Well, good.
When I launch into Groucho, like I answered a couple of letters today.
Yeah, you did.
Groucho style.
Yeah.
But there was some warmth.
Emails are okay.
Emails are okay.
Published interviews, it's a different thing.
Are you still hawking me over that England thing? What I'm doing next time I go back to England, I'm going to pre-generate questions and answers to myself.
Yeah.
Excited about going back? Well, I certainly have to say I am.
I'm surprised they let me.
I'm surprised they let me. And when you say come back, does that mean legally? I don't know. I'm trying to think of things my father would say.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to hop in the shower, Dad. Why don't you walk in? He would always say. It's easier.
Got a haircut.
You got them all cut. They're all classics.
Right.
His really were classics, though.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Such as?
No, I mean, he just knew. He knew he wasn't. Like, he knew he wasn't selling you new material.
Right. But what was his best recurring bit?
I don't know. Because his best recurring bit was him being funny.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I mean, it's like, my mind went blank because we've. Okay, here's the best thing he ever wrote. Okay, he wrote a song about me.
Yeah.
All right, so it's Andrew. It's to the tune of ba 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 is a shmoop ba doop ba doop ba in the, what is that song? In the morning or something, right?
Nothing could be finer than being Carolina.
Well, I think that's an actual song.
Right.
Oh, Andrew David Kindler is an ugly, disgusting swindler in the morning.
Nice.
Andrew David Fat Nose is an ugly, disgusting brat nose in the morning. Andrew David Kindler is an ugly swindler. Andrew David Kindler is an ugly, disgusting swindler in the morning.
So your father would do playground taunts at you.
Yes. And I liked the attention.
Sure.
I was delighted by the attention. He would often say, who's killing it?
Did you ever get hung up on Fat Nose?
I think it seemed like a...
Or did Brat Nose hurt more?
No, because Fat Nose sounded like something that my brother would say. He would call someone a bummy head or something. We didn't have a good...
Wow.
When we were young, we weren't exactly the Smothers Brothers.
Guess not.
Andrew Dave. See, he would call me a drowned rat. He would say, he'd say, who's killing a cat when I play the violin? But I still don't understand how...
Did he ever say nice things, Andy?
Those were the nice things. No, I loved that kind of attention. If it was an area I was sensitive about, like my singing voice,
yeah,
I'm sure he said nothing nice. He said, "Why are you singing Mona Gona Wona Hona all the time?" He goes, "Right." He's right. I'm not Bob Dylan.
You should have gone out with that Karen girl.
Karen, I'm back. I hope you're okay. Karen.
In retrospect.
I should have never gone away. You are 65 living in Clearview. You've got 3 grandkids.
Come to think of it, that person isn't me.
I can't tell you what joy it is for me. Like it's a inside joke to say you're living in Clearview because there's probably a million Clearviews in the country.
Any specificity is always funny, as far as I'm concerned.
You ended up in a 2-bedroom condo in Clearview, and they built a tall building next door, right? Because it's not Clearview anymore.
Who knew? Lucky to sneak attack.
Scared the life out of me. Lucky touched me like a human. Lucky, you scared me. Oh, man. And
Clyde's still hanging out tonight?
I know.
Oh, I said it, and he headed upstairs.
What do you think that you know Lucky longer than I've known Lucky?
Yes.
What do you think when make that sound again?
Yeah.
What do you think? It's just this. Is it come from the brand of dog that?
Yeah, it's a Basenji thing.
That she is. Okay.
She makes weird.
I almost
vocalizations, as they say.
I almost watched on the plane one of these Nova, what the animals are saying situations.
Yeah.
And I think I would have be coming in here. I would have been fluent by now. But they are discovering. But
you're already fluent in jackass.
Someone called me a jackass on Twitter.
Really?
And so I got to use for the first time on Twitter the classic "It's Mr. Jackass to you" joke.
Hee-haw.
So, anyway, Josh.
So let's talk about a fun fact of Andy.
What's that?
How was the rest of Toronto?
But by the way, a lot of people say, "Andy, what are you drinking?" Well, they know what I'm drinking.
They know exactly what you're drinking.
But what is the secret of what I'm drinking? The secret of what I'm drinking is that all the fluids have to be cold. Because Josh, if he hears after every half-baked observation rolling around the ice. It's annoying. But look at this.
Well, you did a little cocktail symphony on Skype last week while we were doing.
I did?
Yes.
What was I drinking?
I don't know, but something with ice. Here, kill that moth. You did. You got it. Barehanded. He's like he's the little tailor.
Oh my God! You know what? I used the moth's weight against him. The moth went into a paper towel. I could have tried to extract it. I said, "Oh, you want to go in the paper towel? How would you like to end up dead in there?" Crunch, crunch, crunch. Hey, look, Peter.
Finally, Andy's been in a fight.
Hey, look, Peter. If you think that I can't kill moths, want me to give it to you?
I'll take it.
All right.
You keep talking.
If you're telling me, Peter, first of all, I don't want to address Peter because you can't win with them. They're more emotional than you about it. I'm not even saying you should win. I have not. I'm vamping. I'm vamping now that Josh went to dispose of the moth. But there's nothing like vamping about PETA.
At first, when you said PETA, I thought you were actually saying Peter in character.
Do you remember there was a time period, and I would say it was a half a day or it was no time at all, that I thought eating something out of a pita was fun. I don't remember having a hankering for it. I remember when it was new.
Yeah.
It's never good.
Places like Eat a Pita.
Yeah, Eat a Pita. How good is it?
I don't know. How do you feel about wraps, which is really what happened to pitas?
That's true. Well, I don't want to get anti-rap, but mostly I don't want a falafel now. Once you've had it once, why are you going back?
Yeah.
How many times do you order a falafel sandwich?
I've never wanted. Well, I have ordered a falafel before. But not with any frequency.
It's so boring.
It's so
Even
boring.
vegetarians are bored by it.
Right.
So PETA will never make a comeback. The other one that got big, though, was the panini press. I always get nervous when things become a trend. Like you never saw a panini, right?
Right.
Being honest with
Suddenly,
everything. You want that panini style?
right.
No.
It's something, it must be like food trade shows. Something becomes the thing.
But the people who came up with fondue, even they were surprised that it took off, I'm sure.
Right.
This is it's good. It's never not good when I've had fondue. But you never say, hey, can we do that thing again when we heat up cheese and chafing dishes?
Yeah, but there's shabu shabu and things like that.
It certainly is, my friend. You keep that dream alive. I've had shabu shabu prepared by the great Nozawa.
Yeah.
Chef Nozawa at like a house.
Wow.
And it was unbelievable.
Wow.
Where do you go for your shabu shabu?
I don't have a regular place.
You remember when I had those T-shirts about my act? Not too shabu shabu.
I
would
do
say.
remember that. Yeah. Now you have a warehouse full of T-shirts that say
Let's
not
do
too
that.
shabu shabu.
Why don't we use that one in black? It seems like people want black.
If you want it,
not
just
too shabu
work it.
shabu.
Work it for a while.
Yeah, that's right. You can't just say it once. I'll tell you, man, this podcast tonight's pretty good. It's not too shabu shabu. How was the sound quality of last week?
We pulled it off.
Unbelievable. And
There was some buzz that Alex took care of most of. I think he said. It's not like I listen back after it goes through the Alex.
It wasn't a buzz about our podcast
No,
being popular,
it was
right?
not. No,
in any
it had
sense
nothing
or
to do with
shape or
with word on the street.
Well, you asked about Toronto. I did not want to come back from Toronto. I had such a great time up there. The first day is always hard.
What with the 4-hour panic attack and all?
Oh, that's right. I put that out of my memory.
Oops.
That was a really, really hard day. And so, but then when I got over that panic attack, I thought, I'll never have one again. So I'm living in a false dream house.
No, it's true.
Yeah. I might not have one again.
No, I think that's how we should proceed.
Yes. Otherwise, first of all, I don't want people downloading this on Monday on the basis of, is it going to be one of these weeks where he has 7 panic attacks?
Right.
But
I usually edit out 3 of them.
It is interesting how the negative feelings, like what I almost want to do every time I have a panic attack that lasts like this, is I want to throw up at one point.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can spit up something like coffee or whatever it is, but it doesn't mean that you had to spit. It's just like if you have a panic attack and you just had like a Starbucks flat white,
Yeah.
you're gonna spit it up. I'm telling you, you're gonna spit it up, and you're gonna convince yourself, oh my God, why would you even have that? How could that never not cause a panic attack? So I'm seeing trends: nausea, the need to vomit, probably didn't eat enough sometimes.
Yeah.
And then the panic is this food poisoning. Is this food? This is like the 5 stages of the 5 stages of panic.
Yeah. Is that what it was? Is that what that was the chain? As you got nauseous, I might have food poisoning. I'm going to miss the show.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because then the other thing is this: if you know that you have to eat a lot, I don't have low blood sugar. I don't know what causes the fact that I have to eat a lot. If you know that you have to eat a lot, and you start to have the feeling of eating, but you say to yourself, I just got to get back to the room, so let me go get the gluten-free thing here, and let me go diagonally over there and grab that coffee. That's always a mistake. I should stop and eat a banana or something.
Right.
These are just tips. This is just road tips for OCD people. Or
And what's the gluten thing?
no, it's because Susan's been gluten-free
Okay.
for a while. And don't tell anybody, okay? We'll keep it on the QT. I wish the thing we were keeping it on had the initials from gluten in it. We're keeping it on the GT. But that was very scary. And that was the first day. So I do think it has to do with, here's my theories: death, fear of death. And this is a thing I'm going to, for those people who like this podcast, I'm going to go further every show into my fears of death.
Okay.
Fear of death, fear of... But that can't be the missing the show. Okay, fear you're going to get food poisoning. That is, I think, somewhat fear of death. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or a fear of discomfort.
Yes. Right, but
Which you also are afflicted with.
if you have a mind that works like mine, you will, whatever the thing that pushes it or triggers it, you will be able to think of every permutation of that. So if I start to get,
as I called my mother always, a worst case scenario stylist.
it's a terrible disease to have, and there's no winning. It's better that you don't give into it. That you try to in some way say, what are the odds it's going to be the worst case? It's never been the worst case yet. It's never been the worst case yet in my head because I'm still alive.
Right. And you've handled the previous worst case.
That's right. Yes. I don't think I handled them I think I handled them okay, but
Well, you're here podcasting. What could have been so bad?
I think getting ahead of the symptoms is probably the best thing, which is keep yourself hydrated, keep yourself fed. But I get panicky. Like the first day I'm somewhere, I have jet lag, and I have to go do a show. And especially if you fly in the day when you perform. Well, I didn't fly in the day. Forget that. Scratch that. I had a night's sleep. But something happens, and it can trigger.
Well, I think that's it. I think, and you can, I think, for Allison, I hate to talk out of school about my wife, but she, when she went to, what's that kind of therapy where it's not
cognitive?
Yeah, cognitive behavioral therapy. It really, a big part of that is recognizing the early stages of the symptoms and being very conscious of them and having some tools to deal with those specific things.
Yes.
Because I think, I know a few people who are like this, where it's like, even though they sort of have panic attacks under control, they're still like, if they get sweaty, it kind of reminds them of when they get sweaty for, they have to remind themselves, oh no, I'm actually sweaty for a reason, or,
Right. They know that there's, right. And the thing is, like, I've never had cognitive behavioral therapy, but it's just like, it's not that different from, mindful meditation or something. It's like sometimes you can't relieve the thing that's happening by continuing to think about it. So you're trying to, I don't know how that works. You're trying to, sometimes you give up. You purposely feel it, or you like do the thing opposite.
Well, you either you feel it and talk it through.
Right.
You go,
right.
I'm feeling this, and it must be because of this right now.
Right.
And it's going to pass, or now it's time to do some breathing, or now,
Yeah.
But it's recognize, it's giving it enough attention so that it's not just tickling your nervous system. It's actually gone. It's not subconscious. It's conscious.
Yeah, because the thing is, sometimes the only thing I've been able to do, say in a more like a bad acid trip in college, was just like breathe.
Talk it down. I mean, that's what all those people who are like acid guides would always be.
Right.
You know, I've only seen sort of the comic version of it, but it's out. You know, you're having a bad trip, and everything is. You know.
Well, that's like. I think it was Dan Aykroyd
that
doing
Jimmy
it.
Carter sketch for SNL where he's on the radio. And,
you were set in being or something, or
right.
Yeah. But anyway, mostly it was really fun. Except when you have OCD and ADHD, and it's almost like you can see it inhabit your hotel room.
Yeah.
You know. So I was able to spend a day where I spent 2 hours just dividing everything into piles. It's the only way I could figure it out. So there was handy wipes or whatever they are, right?
Yeah.
Mints, Pepto-Bismol, the stuff you take so that you don't get lactose intolerant. I don't think I am lactose intolerant. Lactaid.
Okay.
I don't usually have that problem, but why not keep them around?
Right.
I have mints. I also have
So you're putting them in piles?
Yes.
Piles where? On the dresser?
Well, the thing is, this wasn't a thing. What is it when you take the lemonade, you take the lemons and you make lemonade out of it?
Yeah.
We were given a room with 2 queen beds, which we were not happy about normally, but that was the only room they had. And the upside of it was that we could take turns, mostly me, of just using the second bed to strew all my stuff around.
Okay.
Strewn.
Sure.
Yeah. So I was doing that.
So part of that was Andy's piles.
Right. Kleenex.
Okay.
Things to wipe
a pile of Kleenex?
No, but the thing is this. How much... you don't want a big box of Kleenex. You have to bring the portable Kleenexes.
Yeah.
And so...
Have you ever been in a hotel room without Kleenex?
No, it's more like I'm on the plane and I need to get a Kleenex and it hasn't been packed properly.
Okay.
Right. No, I'm not that worried about... Well, I am worried about the Kleenex in the hotel. People have used it. Plus,
you can usually tell if the Kleenex has been used.
Well, I think many people have commented that they don't like the when they make an origami thing out of it.
Yeah.
Andy Richter showed a picture of that once and said, "This is not. I don't consider this sanitary."
The towel or the...
It was like it's like a Kleenex box, but into a big bow.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's more surface
all those
area.
top ones have to go, and you dig down.
And then the couple nights, we just, between me and her, we have no sense of time.
Yeah.
I have a better sense of time, but I have an awful sense of time. So, if you had a show to do at midnight,
yeah,
don't you think it'd be easy to get a dinner in?
I could probably make it happen.
We were able to make a dinner happen twice.
Yeah.
The other nights we were like room service. Blah, blah, blah.
You were just in the room the whole time?
No, not so much in the room, but more like we took a lot of naps. Man.
Not in the room?
No, we took a lot of naps. No, because I didn't want to give you... Susan came to every show, so she was out and about.
Right.
But there was that thing of like, I don't know what it is. We just can't... It's like, we can't make... We're not good with if we even have one appointment.
Yeah.
But I had so much fun. And I really did want to stay there because they don't have Trump there.
Did you do any shows other than the midnight shows?
No, and that's also odd. Usually I try to hop on everybody's situation. I did a couple of serious things.
Yeah.
Serious.
The radio, not the emotion?
Well, I was serious on Sirius.
Yeah.
They have a new thing. Serious on Sirius. Mm-hmm. Very funny. Look, did you get your sound design checked
today? I didn't
today?
yes and that. I yes indeeded that.
Did you get your sound exchange checked today?
No, didn't.
You get one, right?
Yeah.
If you don't get, I have to hook you up with it.
No.
You do.
No, what is it? Is this for...
It's for people hear your, like, stuff on Sirius.
Your stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any recorded stand-up anymore.
Don't say it like that. I'm going to talk to somebody, and I'm going to get you into the Spotify comedy racket.
Okay. Get me an album deal.
But I got a check today for
$1,400. That's fucking great.
I was like...
For a quarter or for the year or what?
For half a year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fucking racket. What the fuck am I doing?
And I'm sitting on a CD. Well, you have released a CD or you haven't?
I've never recorded a CD.
Okay, well that has to be the next thing to do.
Do you think so?
I do. I really do, because it's like when you came in and saved our DVD. You want to just create. I mean, it's fun. You want to create not a legacy for your kids, but something that's like a product of you.
There's just I don't know.
There's so many of them, you think, or
I don't know. The universe hasn't reached out to me and said, we need your stand-up, Josh. I just keep doing it for my own thing.
Oh,
and I think it's good. I'm not saying like I suck or like it's not, but I don't know. I'm having a really hard time being careerist about my stand-up.
But I have an idea for you why you should do it. Cha-ching.
No, that is a good thing.
And I'm sitting on that stupid.
But I just feel like it feels weird to do an album when I feel like no one gives a shit.
Well,
that's really it.
Okay, how is that different from 90% of Netflix specials are not made for a market that's going, we got to have a
Yeah, but there's commerce involved with those.
Well, there's commerce involved with I'm saying cha-ching.
There's still Netflix going, we picked you.
Right. So you're saying
some money.
Yeah, but I have.
This would be me going, I'm going to make an album. Now I have to sell an album.
Well, don't you?
No one wants my album.
Aren't you glad I made that? I wish I was better. I mean, I made. Yeah, but nobody was asking for it.
But you're like a legit comic on television when you were doing that. I mean, you were on Letterman 40 times. You have a potential audience. This isn't me being self-deprecating.
I know what you're saying.
It's just I'm starkly realistic.
Yeah, I think you are starkly. You're Richard Starkey.
And I've made so much shit in my life.
Yes.
Proactively, movies and albums for Allison and plays, and I've done so much self-producing.
Right.
And those are all things I learned.
I think someone else should direct, not me, because I'm terrible.
Yeah.
But someone should direct it.
Produce it,
whatever the word is, I'm not getting.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I think I'll make one more pitch of why I think it's a good thing for you to do it, because you're very good when you're goal oriented. I want to put a piece together about, when you have Acme coming up.
Right.
So I think if you said, you know what, maybe I'll make an album. What would that be like? I think you could nudge yourself into that area. I just think it would be fun at some point. Doesn't have to be tomorrow, but listen to me. Look at all the things I've been, how much money I've made in my lifetime. And, I have an Elon Musk kind of vibe to my, I don't know. I'm sorry about that. I got very depressed just saying Elon Musk.
By the way, speaking of my stand-up, I'll be at, Largo.
I mean, come on.
Largo on the 15th.
It's ridiculous.
I'll be opening for Chad Daniels for my movie at Largo on the 15th here in LA.
Yeah.
And then Minneapolis, I'll be at Acme 16th through the 20th.
I think we got to come up the name for your first. You're saying you've never had I've never had a comedy album.
I Wish I Was Bitter came out as an audio.
As an audio, right.
Yeah.
The name of it has to convey how little you care, or how unself-absorbed you are. I'll work on it. I'll write the special.
The Passive Shrug, an album by J. Elvis Weinstein.
On the fence.
Yeah. No, it's everything about my stand-up thing is weird, because there's so many mixed feelings about it.
Right, but that'll never go. That's probably never going to go away. I mean, I'm not saying mixed feelings about yourself will never go away.
No, I think that's true.
But I mean, I'm not trying to argue that if I didn't have as much success as Ray, that I wouldn't recognize a difference.
Yeah, and I don't have. It's not. Yeah, I mean, I'm coming from a different place because it's all in terms of myself. It's not.
Right.
It's not about jealousy or that person has what I should have. It's much more of like I have this real, I don't know, this reticence to engage with show business that I'm trying to get over again. I was fine for years. I was fine being in show business, and then these last 10 years, I kind of quarantined myself so I could just make some shit.
Yeah, you kind of put yourself to the test.
and I'm having a little bit of a hard time reintegrating, but I feel a desire and a need to.
Yeah.
But I'm having trouble kind of going, who do I call? Who should I,
what is it you want to do right now?
Well, I mean, like right now I think I need to get some representation just because they need to start. I need some opportunities to come, across my radar instead of me having to make them all for myself,
Right.
So, but even that, it's like, I really want to get a new manager. I don't have anyone right now except for a lawyer I can use. But then as soon, I also don't necessarily want a manager in my life. So it's like, well, it's a little, I would say it's approach avoid on a lot of things, and I'm trying to get past it. But in general, I am being very proactive with my life right now. I went to the doctor to get the thing started with my back. That's after great. All these years. I'm dealing with shit that's been hanging around for a while. So
yeah,
it feels like a transition time.
Well, don't forget we have the podcast too.
Oh, there's that.
Yes, which I have been. Now you wouldn't think I'd be the kind of comic to introduce the fact that I have a podcast and then do material about it, because that would be too smart. Right.
And yet?
And now I do. I say, I have my own podcast now.
Right there. I feel offended.
Well, what am I supposed to say?
I have a podcast. You don't have to say
I have my own. I have my own. This other guy is temporary. In fact, that's why we call them test shows. So I said, this podcast called Thought Spiral, and then I say, and podcast listeners, that the joke I did on the thing where they love to have food delivered to their house uncooked, that then they like to pay for the privilege of preparing kale. So now it certainly doesn't sound like buy my CD after the show. It's not that pushy.
But you name the podcast.
I name the podcast.
Nice.
And I think that we're starting to not just affect people's lives personally. I think we're having a global. How they say think locally, act globally? It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it goes the other way. But
What is it? Think globally, act locally?
Yes.
Well, either way, one's you're a big fish in a small.
Either way, it's hopeless, is what you're saying.
But when you hear somebody like they go, "Oh, this guy is the #1 personality in Seattle," did you ever think, "Oh, he's just a big fish in a small"? Isn't that a big pond, Seattle? I would like to be the most popular person in Seattle. That's all I'm telling you.
No, I've had that.
Oh, with the Mystery Science Theater thing.
Well, just yeah. I mean, I've used that model in my head, and and when thinking about people's choices,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
For some people, that is great. That is a great life. Being a big fish in a small pond. But for me, and I think I could, I could have milked more years out of Minneapolis before coming out here, but it didn't feel like that was
right.
my goal,
Yeah. But things are different now in the sense like you have this group in Denver who does videos, and they're known for doing online videos. They don't really have to be anywhere. I mean, I think it's changing that you don't have to be in Los Angeles or New York, but I don't know. How will I know? It's just my prediction.
Well, it depends what you want to do.
Music.
If you're an internet star, no, you can be anywhere in the world.
Who's an internet? And that's a hard thing to do.
But if your goal is mainstream show business, to be an actor in a TV show, still have to be here because you have to audition for.
No, I think it's hard to make an argument about not moving to Los Angeles.
Right.
But it's hard to make. What city would you say? Is it just L.A. and New York that you can make those arguments with in terms of what we're doing? Comedy, acting?
No, I mean, I think you can make a living in some of those cities. I mean, I think there are, like in Minneapolis, there are actors who, because there's some commercial production there, because there's some actual legit theater there.
Or Garrison Keillor or public radio or a whole thing.
Mean, there are some people there who make a life, a creative living.
An author could live anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? But now, do you think New York and L.A., would you say that's, if someone said to you, Josh, you must help me. Which city should I don't know. I want to be an actor, a director. I don't know what I want to be. Would you say New York as much as L.A.?
I think if you don't know what you want to be, then I guess make the choice. I think, but.
Do you think they're equal, New York and L.A.?
again, depending on what you want to do. Like right now, there's more like most of the late night talk shows are New York. Like
Right, I tell you, I'm trying to trip you up. I'm trying to back you into a confrontational. Or
I think you need to. I mean, the advice I just gave someone. I think he was in Utah when I saw him, some young comic, and it was just like, stay here till you can't grow anymore. You know.
Well, that's great advice, because if you're having good sets or you're learning from your sets, or, you're learning from whatever it is that you're doing, then you don't have to do
the
anything.
stage time is valuable. You know.
It usually becomes problematic when you have people in certain cities where there's stuff happening, but it doesn't seem to be enough stuff happening.
Yeah.
You get to, at some point you just get too.
And that's what it was for me at Minneapolis. Is I had done 2 national comedy shows from Minneapolis, and that there weren't more.
Yeah.
There was Mystery Science Theater, which I wasn't going back to, and then there was like that one I did with Fred Willard. And
what was that?
It was called Access America.
I remember that.
And
were you his co-host?
No, I was just a sort of pissed off writer.
Wasn't it great to work with him though?
Yeah, I did. The most time I spent with him is when I did warm up for the tapings.
Yeah.
So I got to hang with him then, and then, in fact, I got a gig. I think I may have mentioned this before, but when I moved out to LA, I was visiting Paul Feig on the set of the Jackie Thomas Show, which was Tom Arnold's sitcom.
Yeah.
And
I remember that show. That show had some good stuff in it, right?
yeah, Joel Madison and Sid worked on it, and
Paul Feig was on the show, right?
He was an actor on the show. He was a cast member.
So it's like a Dick Van Dyke type thing.
Yeah. Except for it was more as if it was more about Reiner.
Right. Yeah. But he was I still think Tom Arnold is a character.
Yeah, and he was funny on that show, and and it was written by a lot of guys who had known him for a long time, so they tapped into some of his, more intricate doofiness.
Yeah, I mean, he really has quite a mind that is separate from anybody else. You know, like he does make me laugh a lot.
But Paul took me on. This is before I had any work, any TV work out here, and Paul took me on the set, and and Arnold and Fred Willard were sitting on a set rehearsing.
Wait, Arnold?
Tom Arnold.
Oh, Tom Arnold, right, yeah.
And Fred Willard were on set, and so Fred recognized me from having worked with me a couple of years earlier on that Access America show, and the fact that happened, I got a call from Arnold's assistant later in the day. Hey, do you want to write this for Roseanne?
Oh.
And so I got paid to write a set for Roseanne.
Did she use the jokes?
I never followed up. I mean, she wanted me to write this thing for a New Year's Eve show she was doing, and she wanted me to basically take her 3 HBO specials and turn them into one set.
Oh,
which was really hard because they were 3 completely different personas.
Like one's very political, probably.
One was political. One was like, I'm a big diva at the Trump Tower, and one was the housewife character.
Yeah, I wrote, as you know, I wrote for her. And Judd Apatow saved my life by paying me to write for her, but I don't think she ever used one of my jokes.
Yeah.
But it's not like she decided not to use it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I added, maybe 10% of it was stuff I added, and then the rest of it was like just trying to find flow between the bits.
Yeah. And is that what you used for the special?
It wasn't a special. It was a New Year's Eve show.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't go to Vegas.
That's when you know you have money, is when you can say, I'm doing a New Year's Eve show. I'd like a writer to construct it for me.
Right.
I don't know if that means you have money, really. That's probably a bad example of what having money is. But the idea,
especially since I underbid for it, so.
You lowballed it?
Yeah, I lowballed it. What the fuck did I know? I was 21 years old.
I wrote for Ben Stiller a year or two ago, and I lowballed it. What am I going to highball it for? You know what I'm saying? I was hoping that he would use me for more things, although it's hard to write that kind of thing. I was really, he's very picky.
Yeah.
And he can write better than me for himself.
Right.
And it was hard. But I would take it again. I don't know why. I think it's fun to write for someone like that. Or fun to write for... I still think that's fun if you could write for someone's something.
Yeah,
you know?
that's why I like doing the State of the Industry address.
Right, but I mean, if you could write for somebody who really meant something, you know, like a cultural icon or somebody who's going to make
Roseanne.
No, not me or her. I'm talking about down the road, like if the Dalai Lama wanted to do a tour.
Right.
I have to say, Josh, I am on tonight, and you would think I'm not high. I did smoke. Here's the truth. I'm calling myself Mr. Truth now. Okay.
Right.
I smoked at 7:15,
okay.
and I was down by the time I got here at 9. It's not like this is not your couple of months ago, Andy Kindler eating 3 brownies.
Did you find any weed in Canada?
Okay. I'm so glad you set me up for this. It's not a great story, but it's going to be legal on the 17th of October. It's going to be legal nationwide in Canada.
Right.
Right? But this has been this way in Toronto for a long time, quasi-legal. So someone told me, I saw right across the street, 365 dispensary open till midnight. I said, 19 or older. I said, well, what do I have to do? All I had to do was go and show my ID.
Yeah.
And then I just went into this room and bought juicy fruit. I bought 4 grams of juicy fruit.
Nice. And is that because it's already legal in Toronto?
I don't know, but I feel like it's been that way. The quasi-legal thing has been that way for a while. And someone told me that in Vancouver, there were like vending machines. So I don't know. It's been like in Vancouver, it used to be where you could smoke all the time. I just think it's always been permissive towards pot in most of Canada. But it's the greatest thing, Josh. You got to admit.
When I was a young kid going up there, it was like they didn't have much weed.
No, I'm sure they didn't.
It was always hash oil they had, and that was like about it.
Well, when did John Lennon do the Toronto Lovin'?
Live Peace in Toronto?
Yeah, 67. There had to be pot just for that event.
69,
69.
Or 70.
And the Trudeau. You don't think Pierre Trudeau and the wife, Mrs. Trudeau? What was that sound? It sounded like a demon was sucking at the window.
I think that was it, yeah.
Yeah, but I want to tell you, I'm on tonight, Josh.
Yeah.
And I mean it in a way of someone who might be manic. I have stuff to talk about if you want me to.
Sure.
Okay, now I wanted to tell you.
No, please.
No, please.
Continue content free if you would.
No, please. Okay, so I went to Toronto, and here's my. This is a joke I wanted to write. I really want to get out of this country in a lot of ways. I mean, like when I'm in Toronto or I'm in Montreal or I'm in London, I do actually think, like a Jew in the 30s,
yeah,
could I escape here? And so, and in Toronto, I just wanted to like blend in. You know what I mean? Yeah. I really am ashamed of being an American, and I'm conscious of it all the time.
You should develop a skill,
like stand up.
A skill one that'll make Canada want you is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I think hopefully, the only thing that I'm hoping is with this new USMCA.
Yes.
Which has such a better ring to it than the North American Free Trade Agreement, which is no problem for me to say.
Right. No one even said that, though.
What do you mean? What did they say? NAFTA.
Yeah.
But the U.S. military, the U.S., Mexico, Canada agreement?
Yes.
Kiss my ass,
I think
Trump.
they should call it NUFTA.
I hate him so much. Me and the wife can't watch him for a second. So when I was up there, it just felt so good to be out of his grasp for a little while.
Yeah.
I wish I had a better story.
You opened the notebook for that.
I opened the notebook, and it's so ridiculous. I said, I'm going to really top Josh tonight, because I'm going to come all prepared. So here's what I have prepared. Can we answer the questions from last Monday? Well, that's not even a note for this week. No. This is from my last week, and I started on the same page. Went to Toronto, just tried to blend in. Had trouble planning a dinner. Second City, Toronto crowds.
Let's talk about Second City.
It is a great club.
Yeah.
And it made me...
Is it the original?
No.
Okay.
The original is, I don't even know where it is. I think it's been in 3 locations, Second City in Toronto. This one, that, the original, then they went over to the thing, and now they're in the 3rd location.
Now they're in the
third
thing, which
the
is
third
why
situation,
it's perfect for Kindler.
Good for me. It's great. It's so great, and it's like, Susan said this, and I'm not someone who likes, I like to brag, but no one else likes it when I brag. But I had well-attended shows every night. So, 200 people around. I'm happy with that.
That's great.
I'm happy with that. That's all I want.
It's a midnight show.
And a midnight show.
Yeah.
And so I really felt like people who came to see me were coming to see me or comedy like me. So I just think it couldn't be a better comedy environment than Toronto and Canada. Every time I go to Canada now, and they have great comics up there. Great comics.
Yeah, I haven't done stand-up in Canada in years.
Well, I will hook you up.
Okay.
We're going to be doing our we should probably do our show at the next JFL 42 or something, or the Montreal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hook me up, Andy.
I know. I answered an email that we got saying it's probably a showbiz situation.
Yeah.
Like making him have to do it. Oh, someone wanted to know why we're not on Spotify.
Right.
Why are we not on Spotify?
I'm not sure. I think we applied at one point, and I don't know if it ever came through. I never followed up, but I think the music might be hurting us, honestly.
What do you mean?
I mean, Spotify, I think they're like, yeah, you can have your podcast, but with 0 music.
Oh, okay. Even though it's our songs mostly? I know what you mean.
If we wanted to do the documentation, we could probably...
Right. So in other words, you're not going to find us on any website or sharing service where we have to do a lot of work.
You can find us in the same places you can find my comedy album.
Mm-hmm. iTunes.
No, nowhere is my point.
Oh. I was thinking of the thing you directed. I had a great experience, though, on the way back from Toronto.
Yeah.
I heard someone's paying. They're trying to pay with an Apple Watch. And they couldn't. We didn't have. They said, "Sir, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to use show me your card." But until that moment, he was like, and then he puts his wrist. Isn't that the similar experience you had with a guy doing a Rubik's Cube? Isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, it's that kind of irritating. Yeah.
Why do you have to pay with your wrist? Why does that have to? And to go. Oh, and he was so upset. Not upset, but a little put off. He's like, "Oh, I don't know why it's not working." And the guy said, "Well, the Apple Pay doesn't work a lot." And I was like, "Yeah, yes." It was almost like when Louis C.K.'s career crashed. It was not as exciting.
Yeah.
You don't have an Apple Watch. Do we need an Apple Watch? You see, sometimes I'm caught between the old guy who doesn't want to get anything new character and the why would I want it all on my watch? Not on my watch. What do you think, though?
I'm not gadgety in that way. I don't, I don't feel that married to my phone, and so I don't need.
How about to your wife?
I feel fairly married to my wife.
Fairly married. That's an interesting choice of words.
Yeah.
Very Kavanaugh-like.
Well, because if you say I feel so married, then it sounds like it's a ball and chain thing.
If you refer to her as the old ball and chain, I would say that's a warning sign.
Yeah. No, I'm a happy man, Andy Kindler.
We don't do. You see, it's very hard for men to be comedians now because we can't do the wife's nagging jokes. The mother-in-law's nagging me.
Yeah.
There was older comedians, generations. You could make a nice dollar humiliating your family.
And I'll make gentle fun of Allison in my act.
Yes.
And I was doing the show at the Steve Allen once, and Emo was in the show too. And Emo comes up to Allison after the show, and because Allison was there, and he goes, "I don't know. Every comic I know who talks about his wife like that is divorced." Thanks, Emo.
That's a good emo. You do good impressions. Have you heard me? There's an impression that I've been preparing for you.
Okay.
That I'm very excited about.
It looks like.
Is that
Insulting, you would think that would be it. Are you ready for my new one?
Sure.
They look like just pants, but they don't. They look like pants.
Very good.
One day you'll be sorry when I'm touring the country. It'll be like me doing Crazy Guggenheim. That's how big it'll be.
I
Well, what do you think? Should we take a break? Or how are we doing? Keep going. Or do you want to go right to the questions? Or do you have music? What do you have got?
What would you like to have?
Well, first of all, are we still going?
Yes, we're still going.
Beautiful.
As far as I know.
Terrible system you have. What a terrible system. We don't know if you're recording or not.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I can keep going.
I mean, when you ask, should we take a break? It's usually time for a break.
Well, no, but I was wanting to ask that 20 minutes ago.
Oh, well.
And I looked in the...
Then perhaps we've run its course, the whole thing.
Maybe we've worn out the welcome of let's take a break. I have no music once again, but I promise that will change soon.
I honestly didn't think about music, but let's... what do you think?
I would like maybe Allison torch song.
Allison Torch song. All right.
Well, I don't even know what that means, but
I don't know. This is kind of an Allison Torch song. Okay. Here's an Allison Torch song called Try.
I can do or say. I've been trying to hold this candle in the night. If you like living in the darkness, that's your right. But I know we stand a chance.
Well, that is what I was going for with For Sure.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's the thing. Like, For Sure, I'm not saying For Sure was good, but I love the idea of Try being in the chorus of the song.
Yeah, it's a good song.
That's my favorite song that I've heard so far.
Really?
That song is a hit. I should start picking out what you're going to play. That song, first of all, here's what I wrote down. The three things it reminded me of.
Okay.
Roy Orbison.
Definitely. That was the intent. In terms of the quality of the production that Pink and I did.
Chris Isaac.
Yeah.
That one song.
Which is also Roy Orbison.
And
No, I want to fall in love. That one.
I never even thought of that. With you.
That was a total Roy Orbison track, yeah.
And David Lynch. I don't know why I wrote David Lynch, but
because he used Chris Isaac's Wicked Game.
And the thing about Allison's voice is unbelievable. But the thing was so unbelievable then was like, just there's really no affectation. It's just like so pure.
Yeah.
And I loved the guitar too, and the organ.
Actually, a bass.
Oh, okay.
We were going for like a baritone guitar kind of solo, but we ended up finding the sound on a bass with a pick.
Yeah, it's like that song. Beatles songs have that kind of like bum 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 bum. Bam, 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 bam. No, it's not the same now. But when I love the lower register guitar,
Yeah.
And I love the organ. I mean, it sounded just great.
I think that was Rami Jaffe from the Wallflowers on that track. He played on a few tracks on the album, but it might have been Gruber. I was the whole time listening to it. I couldn't remember if it was Gruber or Rami.
Well,
it feels like if it was Rami, we would have featured it a little more. But
but I'm telling you,
but it's a nice part.
It was beautiful, and Susan and I. This is not a segue, but we have. We're both trying to do like the New York Times crossword puzzle. Everyone,
Yeah.
how many days it takes us. Well, Monday's okay.
Yeah, if it takes two of you to do Monday,
No, but it's
maybe a new hobby.
Well, it took two of us not to get anything from Sunday. Is that the hardest one?
Yeah.
Okay, but we got Chris Isaac as an answer.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember if it's AAK or AAC or neither.
I think in his case, it's ISAAK.
Yeah, I think it is. And the thing is, about the crossword puzzles, and so you're not supposed to Google.
He was a big jerk, by the way, on the one time I met him 20 years ago.
He was?
On an award show. The same one I was on with Michael Jackson. Chris Isaac was kind of a big jerk that day.
Was he?
He was really snotty to people.
Oh, Chris Isaac.
Yeah. He had a big attitude.
Why though? Because you know what? If he had one more song as good as that song,
yeah,
he could warrant.
There were some big names there. Bette Midler was there. Michael Jackson was there. Wynonna was there. Vince Gill was there. So he wasn't the biggest fish in that
I bet
pond.
Vince Gill. I see Vince Gill as being very nice.
Vince Gill was awesome.
Yeah.
Vince Gill was incredibly nice.
That's what I see. Country.
Nicest star of the day. Morgan Freeman was very nice.
Morgan Freeman.
He was very nice.
You never know who's going to be nice.
James Garner was there.
Oh, I love him.
He was very cool.
Is Jennifer Garner related to James Garner?
No.
I knew that couldn't be true, or I would have heard it. Right. But it came to me the other day, and I said to myself, Andy, is Garner...
Save this for the podcast, Andy.
We just got a cease and desist from the Patty Whack Company.
Hey, I'm not saying you picked a public domain song, but your clue should have been quick, quack, wacky back, give yourself a bone. Click, clack, clicky, clack. That'd be great if Dennis Miller just got into deconstructing old public domain songs.
With a knick-knack Patty Whack.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a bone for you, doggy.
Okay. Hey, Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah.
Man, strumming on the old banjo, if you know what I mean.
We're making ourselves sick. We're making ourselves sick at the listener's expense. That's what I worry about. I'm always thinking, what would the listener like? How are they reacting? That's how I'm different than you.
You care about the listener?
I care about the listener.
Okay.
But not in a caring way, in an obsessive way. It's like that could turn very easily into anger, like facing the crowd.
Yeah.
I would love to snap, not in a racist way, but to snap. Not in a racist way. I want to snap, not in a Michael Richards racist way.
Right.
But no, then I don't want to snap.
No.
But, I wouldn't mind snapping. You're out of order would be a good way to go. You're out of order. This courtroom's out of order. That would be a good one.
Right.
The Attica thing.
Right. No, those are two separate things.
What do you mean?
I mean, You're Out of Order is from Injustice for All. Attica is from Dog Day Afternoon.
So when Paul Newman says, you're out of order, this entire courtroom is out of
That's not
order.
Paul Newman.
It's not Paul Newman?
No,
Who is
it's
it?
Al Pacino.
And that's Dog Day Afternoon?
No, that's Injustice for All.
How about this one?
And Attica was Dog Day Afternoon.
Who's this one?
And Paul Newman was The Verdict.
The Verdict, that's right. Who's this one? Who says a man can't be a decent parent just because he's a man?
That's Kramer versus Kramer.
And you got it with a bad impression, too.
Yeah, I did.
I love that movie. When that movie came out, here's the movies that I would say are some of my favorites. That movie, and everybody knows, I don't know if you know or if I mentioned on the show, that Ordinary People is just about my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Because it resonates with me emotionally.
Yeah, it's a brutal movie.
It's a brutal movie.
Yeah.
And it's the same year as something else that everyone thought should have won. Ordinary People won. And people were angry that year. Could have been The Player or something.
It wasn't The Player. It was way before The Player. I don't know. The Right Stuff, maybe? It was right around that same time.
No, it's never been a conversation where someone said The Right Stuff should have gotten more awards.
I fucking love The Right Stuff.
I didn't say it was bad.
Don't say it's bad, because I'll snap back.
Is The Right Stuff where the guy does the
No, The Right Stuff is about the Mercury astronaut program.
No, but what's the movie about the NASA where the guy does the impression of what's his name?
Jose Jimenez?
Yes.
That's The Right Stuff, yeah.
And who was playing that role?
Scott Glenn was playing Ellen.
That's not about Gus. That's not about Gus Grissom, is it?
It was also about Gus Grissom. Yes.
You know, those were my heroes. The Mercury. Like when I was a little kid, I was like,
I would think, that's kind of right when you were a very little kid.
Fire in the Capsule.
Right. Well, that was Apollo 1.
All right, so I'm mixing up many things.
But both were Gus Grissom. But that fire was the Apollo fire.
Oh, he died,
Apollo
right?
1. Yeah, he and two others.
Oh man, that's the only reason why I didn't become an astronaut, because it just too many sad stories.
The exploder bolts.
You know how much they wanted me to be in the astronaut? I couldn't swim though. You don't need to swim to be an astronaut, do you? You do not.
No, you do need to swim.
In weightless space? You're already weightless.
You have to train.
Yeah, but you're not going to be underwater.
Yeah, they train underwater.
Oh, that's where I did. I was in one of those things.
Oh, okay.
I learned to be weightless at the NASA space camp that I did for Letterman, and it was fun for about 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you haven't done a thing where you had to fly up in the air and then they did.
Oh no, but I assume you achieved zero gravitas.
I like the way you had to kind of like verbally deter me from continuing with my bit.
Let me get to mine.
I did get the zero gravitas. But there are people who have done that thing where you fly up and then they make you weightless, and I would get sick.
They call it the vomit comet.
The vomit comet.
Yes.
What's the point of that?
Vomiting.
But some people don't get any problems at all. Are you more towards that group?
I don't know. I never got motion sickness. The only time I ever got motion sickness was when I was snorkeling in Hawaii. And I got seasick, but not on the boat, but when I was snorkeling.
Oh.
And I was bobbing on top of the ocean, and it was swelling up and down.
Oh.
And
did it get scary a little bit?
It didn't get scary, but I puked in the water.
Oh.
I fed some fish that day.
Oh, why do you say it like that? Nobody wants your vomit, even fish.
And it ended up as mahi mahi on your plate.
Why the DJ voice at the end? And it's 65. It's Casey Kasem, and it's a goddamn dead dog. You're going from a dead dog. Well, I don't believe that Casey Kasem was reading a dead. Oh, someone would want a song dedicated to their dead dog.
Why do you come out of a happy song into a goddamn dead dog dedication?
That's so great. I can't believe that he actually had enough pressure in his life where he would flip out like that, like O'Reilly. What did he have to worry about, Casey Kasem?
He was bored. I think he was just
You think
bored.
so?
Yeah.
Now we're counting that. I guess it's not as fun to be Dick Clark or Casey Kasem as it doesn't look. Right? It wasn't that. Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
Is that the right name? Who's
Yeah.
the one who, the one I love though was the guy
Not
who.
America's Top 40.
Top 40. The guy who did, was he the voice of Scooby-Doo or?
Shaggy.
He was?
Yeah.
In real life.
What do you mean in real life?
Is Scooby-Doo a cartoon of some type?
Yes.
And Casey Kasem does a voice?
Of Shaggy.
Why?
Because there's money in voice work.
And he says, I'm Shag. How's it going? How's it going, Scooby-Doo?
There you go. Zoinks!
Oh, he's the dog.
No, gee, Scoob. Well, I'm doing more Scoob than Shaggy, but
And who is Scooby exactly?
Scooby is the dog.
Well, who's the boy? Isn't there a boy involved?
No, there's a mystery gang. There's a gang of
Ugh,
teenagers.
this just sounds disgusting.
Jesus
There's no
Christ.
reason for it.
Don't make me first explain Scooby-Doo and then defend Scooby-Doo to
Is
you.
it related to Scooby-Dooby-Doo? Is it related to that? I hate these. You know what? My argument is that we probably got Trump because we watched too much Scooby-Doo. Did you ever think
You
of that?
didn't watch any Scooby-Doo, apparently.
I remember this, though. Is that Scooby-Doo?
Sure.
Who is that I'm doing?
Well, you're either doing Astro or
I'm doing
Scooby-Doo,
Astro.
but it's the same impression. Rorge?
Okay, that's Astro.
Rorge?
And then what's Scooby-Doo?
Raggy?
So I hope this is annoying enough to end the podcast forever. This caused a split between us. And you got so mad because I wouldn't stop saying, who are you doing, Scooby-Doo? Or are you doing, what was the name of the other cartoon?
The Jetsons.
The Jetsons.
Right. Astro.
His dog Elroy.
No.
His boy Elroy.
Yes.
Beep, he's my favorite part. Beep 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 boop bop 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 ba-doop ba-doop ba-ding bang. Wong.
It was the space chopsticks that got you?
Yeah, now what was that group? Was it like a David Brubaker type thing or?
David Brubaker? Are you going to stay with that?
What is his name?
Dave Brubeck?
I mixed the movie Brubaker, which I've never seen. Is that a good movie? That's a Robert Redford movie,
Dave
right?
Brubeck is one sax-playing badass warden.
Was David Brubaker? What was the movie about?
It was about a warden. It was by Robert Redford
that
as a
one.
warden.
What we have here is a failure.
No, that's Cool Hand Luke.
I'm starting
Jesus Christ.
I'm starting to enjoy this dummy character.
Yeah.
What we'll have
You're
here.
really coming into your own.
I'm almost getting to T-Bone level.
Yeah, you are.
All right.
Not the character, the piece of meat.
Bing, bang, bing, bing, ding, ding, ding. You know, I saw Mitch McConnell in a Cracker Barrel. Not the store. It's a callback.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Sure. Should we ask some
we
ask and answer some questions?
Yeah, do you like how impressive? I also entered some mail today. I don't know where the mail's coming from. We can't be that popular.
I answered like 16.
Wow.
today.
You're just trying to say you're better than me.
Well, I am better than you.
Oh, okay. So is that obvious?
I'm not trying to. I'm doing I'm better than you inventory.
I'm just observing the truth, Andy. I'm observing the truth. Oh, God.
All right, here we go.
Here we go, baby.
Luke Maxwell says, quick, rank every pre-SNL sketch comedy show. I need to know if Hee Haw is better than Laugh-In.
Laughing is better than hee-haw.
You know what? I'm going to take the other side.
I think you're right. Hee-haw is better than laughing.
I'm just going to say that hee-haw stands up better than laughing.
Well, laughing doesn't stand up at all.
Exactly.
In fact, the TV falls down the wall.
Hee-haw is more endearing.
I'd like a little walnut-o.
In retrospect, it's more endearing, I think.
One little ringy-dingy. Well, I loved Roy Clark. As a kid, I loved Roy Clark. I love Minnie Pearl. She has a price tag on her hat, and I don't remember anything else. Were they sometimes standing in an actual field?
A cornfield, yes.
Why?
Why, yes.
That was their
Because
set?
they popped up and told jokes.
Hey? Oh, I see. That was their... Were they before Laughing?
No, but it was a derivative show. It was a country... It was pitched as...
Laughing for country western.
Laughing, yeah.
I can't believe it. I never got the high concept behind it till now.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming together. But let's see. Pre-SNL comedy sketch shows. Your show of shows did great, brilliant stuff. Ernie Kovacs did brilliant stuff.
I don't know. I know very little of both of them.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of both of them, but not nearly
enough.
Not like any massive percentage.
Do you like Ernie Kovacs a lot?
The Gleason Show was a great sketch show. Carol Burnett was a great sketch show.
It was a great sketch show.
What else before us?
What was that?
Monty Python.
Yeah. They're all different because they...
Of those, Monty Python is the most important to me. Probably followed by Carol Burnett Show because that was formative when I was a little kid.
SCTV was important to me.
That's not pre-SNL, though.
Well, I just want to get a goddamn word in edgewise during your, all of a sudden, Josh Elvis Weinstein takes us down the history of pre-SNL sketch shows. I'm so impressed with the brand of obnoxiousness I'm selling tonight.
Yeah.
I am.
I'm not buying.
That's okay, because I'm not selling. Well, how different are we than like a vaudeville Jew act?
I don't think we are at all different from a vaudeville Jew act. I think we are a
so we've
vaudeville
taken
Jew act.
the art form nowhere. And
No.
maybe it's
Full
not
circle, maybe.
What do you mean, Svevia? Hey, Shmoney.
Eric says my parody Twitter account, Cuck Todd, we all remember
I love
Cuck
that,
Todd,
Cuck Todd.
was given the Twitter death sentence last week. How should I rebuild my life?
Oh my God! Why would it be
I don't know if
Cuck Todd?
maybe
Is it aggressive? Is that the problem?
I don't know. It was one joke, but it was one joke committed to.
It wasn't really one joke because was he always coming off like
It was
a
always
mean Chuck Todd?
No, it was always coming off like a cuckolded Chuck Todd.
Well, there's also Cuck Liddell too.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know what happened with that.
I'm on Team Cuck Todd.
Well, I think that I guess it's a sad day. Not really, but what's his plan? Does he have a plan?
That's what he's asking us. How can he rebuild his life?
I think just come back in as your real name.
You could be Cuck McCann and just like come out of people's medicine cabinets. Hi, guy.
So you think that it was the Todd part that got him kicked off?
Probably not. I don't know if he got kicked off or if he's just
done with it.
Yeah.
I would feel at some point, even like with Colin Quinn, who's hilarious, I couldn't keep going.
Right. Dana Schwartz. I had a fantastic time at my first JFL Toronto last week, as you probably discussed earlier in the podcast. We didn't discuss you having a good time, Dana, but we did discuss the
I
JFL.
was going to bring it up, though.
I think Andy and I hit it off pretty well. And
Yes.
the first time I saw Susan, I thought, does Andy have a daughter? Since she looks so young. We had a nice talk, and it was a great couple of days. Thanks to Andy and his friends for making me feel welcome and for being so talented on stage.
Oh, that's nice. It was a lot of fun to see Dana there. He came up and he saw 2 shows.
Yeah?
And then afterwards we hung out. Anthony Jeselnik was there.
Yeah.
So a good time was had by everybody.
Good.
We talked.
And you decided to take the talent on stage approach?
How do you mean?
He said, thanks for being so talented on stage.
Oh, I decided to try.
Okay.
For once.
For Canada.
For Canada.
Right.
Well, I knew he had come up for 2 nights. I go, let me put some effort into it. It was good shows, though, too. And I heard this group that I loved. They're called the Cooties.
Yeah.
3 guys, hilarious, singing stuff. And they're also great guys, too.
Good.
So I very much in favor of the Cooties.
Are they Canadian?
They're from South Florida. And young. They're young. I like this new generation coming up.
Yeah.
With the youngth and the youth and the vim and the vigor. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Josh, all for it.
Keep telling yourself that, old man.
Oh, looky at somebody who came up from the thing.
80 Morgan says, seems to be a high-speed car chase headed into the Valley area right now. Would you please comment on it live if it goes past Josh's house? Thanks.
I didn't even know that was happening. I haven't been... What's that sound, Josh? Josh, it sounds like a baby siren. Come on, give me baby siren. Come on. We have a new character. Baby siren.
They call me Baby Siren. Once upon a pair of wheels, they hit the road and I'm gone.
What's my number? What's my number? Hey, look, that wasn't the Simon and Garfunkel song. This is not My Beautiful House.
Brian asks, any thoughts on the new Fleetwood Mac lineup minus Lindsey Buckingham, who has been replaced by Mike Campbell and Neil Finn?
I didn't know this was happening, but I am a huge fan of Fleetwood Mac, so I can't be against any of my favorite people reforming, although I didn't know, had they ever disbanded?
Yeah, there's been many incarnations of Fleetwood Mac.
And how come Lindsey Buckingham is not there?
Because I think they kind of asked him to leave.
Why? I thought he was one of the main... I haven't been following.
Yeah.
But I think those Rumors and the other album, I mean, I think they're some of the best music I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then you see
I used to be friends with Richard Dashett, who was a producer of Rumors.
I've heard of that guy. You were friends with him?
Yeah.
Did you go to the Village Recorders down on the west side or whatever?
No, I never knew him. I never was in the studio with him.
Tell me his name again.
Richard Dashett.
I've seen that name. I've seen that name like in
he did Rumors and Tusk.
But that's not my two favorites. Rumors and the other one maybe just called Fleetwood Mac?
Sure. I can't tell you what your favorite is.
No, but there's like, if I told you that these two albums, every song on both of these albums, I think is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you had I took a mountain and I went down to a little mountain and then I came around.
I've never been a big fan. I've never been that compelled by them. I think, there's songs I like, but there's no songs I love. And there was one year, it might have been like whatever, that year that they came back for their big reunion and they did the big VH1 special.
I don't remember that.
My friend Scott Pinkerton was working on that tour, and we got tickets to go to that taping at the VH1 thing, which was at Warner Brothers on the lot. And Stevie Nicks had like horrible stage fright, and we were waiting for hours. It was
I didn't know that. It was just like
it didn't start for like 2.5 hours.
And she always had this was always a problem.
It wasn't always a problem, but I think it was a recurring problem for her.
Yeah,
particularly at this phase in her life. And so after 2 hours, we left because it was my birthday too.
Wait a second. You didn't see. Then
I never stayed.
The concert didn't go on.
The concert eventually went on, but it was
I see.
So far after the starting time that we had left.
Well, you have to remember that young Andy Kindler grew up and was a contemporary of Fleetwood. In other words, like when I graduated college.
No, it's your generation.
It's my generation. Yeah. And the interesting thing about Fleetwood Mac is it's the same thing. Yeah, it's true that I met somebody, Jack Tempchin, who wrote songs for the Eagles. So I did change how I thought about the Eagles.
Right.
And but I was never anti the Eagles like some people have been. Only that one song they played too much, which is Hotel California.
Yeah,
got played so much. But I love their songs, and if you don't hear them all the time, so I love them and I love Fleetwood Mac. But that was when the transition came, where there had to be like a new wave, Talking Heads, Ramones, as a reaction to the
corporate rock.
Yeah. But I felt I did feel they were great. Now I can't say the same thing about Loggins and Messina. I can't justify
the. You said you loved Loggins, Messina.
But do they hold up? No. For evil homeward sailor man. Fleetwood Mac, I think, does hold up.
Yeah, I mean their best stuff does, and it's all good. It's just
I think if I
just never
talk about it
cared.
longer, I'm going to shoot myself in the head.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry.
But I do think that I saw Neil Finn play at Largo.
Is that Crowded
a few
House?
Weeks ago. Crowded House and Split Ends before that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And I think Neil Finn vocally is a great Lindsey Buckingham match. And Mike Campbell's a great guitar player. So
Is he from Tom Petty?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like it could be great.
Yeah, I think it's it took two men to replace him, much like Mia Mystery Science Theater.
So Fleetwood's still there.
Yeah, everyone but Lindsay.
Who's the Mac part?
John McPhee.
Oh, so he's the bass player.
Yeah.
And he's still there.
And Christine McVie is
And
back. She had left for several years.
Oh,
and now
this is
she's
exciting.
back, yeah.
This is exciting. Do they need me? Do they need like a background singers?
For
or
a band I don't give a shit about, I seem to know a lot about them.
I think it's very impressive. Well, it's just interestingly enough, or not interestingly enough, on one of the nights when our show was delayed at the Second City, they put us in Gretzky's.
Yeah.
Which is Wayne Gretzky's restaurant.
Yeah.
And there was a Fleetwood Mac tribute band playing.
Really?
And I enjoyed that.
I think I would enjoy a Fleetwood Mac tribute band one notch more than Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, see, that's where it. But you know what, though? When I saw the.
Because there's no irony with Fleetwood Mac. And that would add the level of irony that would help.
That's true. Did you require irony from them?
I like some irony in my
Yeah, but they're
music.
not. They're from the last generation of that. We really are rockers.
Right.
This is what we do, and we
With
come
total
by it.
sincerity. Yeah.
We come by it honestly.
Yeah.
But then when the time you got to see, I think of like Styx and REO Speedway. I think of that as the train going over the hill.
Yeah.
Just total Foreigner. I don't know. Maybe Foreigner's okay.
No, it's all Boston. It's all one ball.
Journey?
to me. Kansas, REO Styx.
Kansas is terrible.
Yeah.
REO Speedwagon, Styx, Foreigner.
Right.
And your favorite band, which I never could understand why you preferred.
I can't wait to hear who it is.
I can't believe you preferred the Starship over the original Jefferson Airplane.
That's not cool, man. Marty Ballard just died.
Did he really?
Yeah.
How old was he?
I don't know. Marty Ballard age.
I was into a group called Hot Tuna for a long time.
Yeah.
And that was Yarmulke Conan and Jack Cassidy.
Ah.
The bass player and the guitarist from...
Starship.
No, Airplane.
I'm kidding.
I know you meant that. Why do I feel like we're Abbott and Costello without any punchlines now?
Because I think that sums it up pretty well.
Do we have, are you done with the questions, do you think?
No, there's plenty more questions.
Okay.
Andy, while you were in, did you watch any TV while you were in jolly old England? And if so, how do you think it compares to American TV?
I had, well...
That was Arthur Nitschke who asked.
Oh, hi, Arthur. I would say that when they do the reality type shows, like, they have a genuine love of, like, the kind of reality shows they do, which could be anything from I'm going to teach you how to shop better, or and the game shows. They genuinely love these game shows. So I did enjoy watching them because it was sincere and they liked it. And then I saw a special about J. Paul Getty.
Yeah.
That was great. So the BBC 1, 2, 3, all of that's I think pretty great.
Yeah.
But so the news is pretty good. But then it doesn't seem, I don't know, then you're just back into America land because you have all these like Sky TV and a lot of these things are doing 2.5 Men.
Right.
But then what I didn't watch was enough British shows because I love watching them when I'm there. Like, there's one called The Buses.
Yeah, I don't know.
Father Ted, all these things.
Father Ted was great. But it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Cynthia C. says, Josh and Andy, what do you do to chill from the daily Trump, KKK, ICE camp, Senate, SCOTUS debacle, etc. insanity to find some inner peace for how brief a period?
Oh, well, inner peace is one thing. That's like going to listen to music, just like going completely off of the watching things. But then I also do like true crime stuff or Datelines or things that are, I'm a big forensics files fan, where it's like things like they're telling you about horrible things, but it takes your mind off of Trump.
Right.
But I would like to get back into watching more shows and things. Like there's so many shows I want to catch up on or haven't seen.
I've given up on ever seeing any show.
Even like an hour-long drama?
Yeah.
So, but do you, like, I definitely know I'm going to see the Breaking Bad sequel.
Yeah, I mean, I watch that weekly.
Okay. Is that the only one you watch weekly?
That's the only, other than, pretty much.
I do get into different jags. Like, I can get into Portlandia, and I can watch a few of those in a row.
Yeah.
So but I have to be in the mood sometimes.
I'm just never. It's the whole binge thing is just too daunting for me. It just feels like too big a commitment always for me. So I get very phobic about it. So Breaking Bad, I watch week by week.
The first time through.
Yeah, I DVR.
Yeah, we missed it the first time through, but then we did watch it.
Yeah,
we experienced the same thing you did a few years later.
Like so much, like my jokes.
Okay. I see. Years later, you get them?
Or you get them.
But don't you think a lot of this is all weighted down by Trump? That I feel out of sorts, like my whole life feels out of sorts more than it's ever felt, just for the overwhelming drama every day that keeps going on, where it's like, I'm so scared of this asshole getting on the Supreme Court. So I'm thinking there's a chance that he won't get on the Supreme Court, this Kavanaugh, and there's also a chance that they will then delay it till the election, and there's a chance that the Democrats could win the Senate and the House, and that would make me so goddamn happy.
All those are chances. We'll know by the next show, hopefully, what happened with the Kavanaugh thing.
Yeah. I think he's going down. I think he's a horrible man, and I can't believe that things are so much starker than they were when I was a kid. I mean, I've said this a million times, but I thought the Republicans were horrible then, but you can double, triple, and quadruple how awful the evil people are now. Because no Supreme Court right-wing guy would make the mistake of going, you're getting back at me because of the Clintons. Even Clarence Thomas, who is a complete coward, and the only time he ever brought up his race was in the context of his own hearings. He never advocated for people of race and any other. He goes the other way for affirmative action.
Right.
He said a high-tech lynching, which was nonsense, but he didn't say the left wing is coming to get me.
Right.
That is singularly horrible, that we would be putting a guy on the Supreme Court who was a Clinton attack dog trained by Ken Starr.
Right. Who followed it up working in the Bush administration.
Yes. Is that what he did in the book? Right. And torture memos and things like that. Yeah. Working on torture memos. So I think he's going down. But you know what? I think I am an optimist, ultimately. But I think being an optimist means that you're almost always going to be wrong sometimes.
All right. I don't know. I think what's been so stressful is just that, every day there is it used to be a not infrequent, but a sporadic thing where there would be a news item that would draw you to the TV.
Yes.
Where you would feel compelled to watch what's going on because you feel like there's some historical shift happening. And that's daily now.
That's how you can see people.
Every day it feels like we've never seen this before. This could be the thing. This could be this could be the turning point, and it could be the turning point in any direction.
Right.
The turning point could be towards nuclear war with someone. The turning point could be towards impeachment. The turning point could be towards a dictatorship. The turning point could be
everything you're saying
a genocide. Right. We don't. But it could go any day. Now. That turning point could be.
There's stuff happening now because they're rounding people up in a tent city.
Right.
Yeah,
they're moving children around in the dead of night, and So it is incredibly stressful to feel both compelled and almost responsible to keep on top of what this shit is, because you don't want to be the person who didn't pay attention as it all went to shit, Well,
that's the part of it that's like PTSD in a way to me, because when you're someone who's had post-traumatic stress disorder and you're constantly releasing adrenaline and you're constantly depleting your adrenals, that's what it feels like for our whole country right now.
Yeah,
I think there's just no doubt in my mind. I've never remember a time in this. Well, that's why they say you can never say, I would have been more. I was more nervous even being closer to the draft as I was.
Right.
You know, like it would have been scarier for me when they could draft people and send them to Vietnam. So there's been scarier times.
Were you actually?
I was
of
the last
draft
year they
age
had a. I was
when
the last
they-
year they had a draft card.
A lottery.
No, not the lottery. Last year that you had to have a draft card the first time around.
Okay.
Then they came back and said it again. So 1974 was the last year of draft cards of that version, and 72 was the last year of the lottery.
Okay.
So no, I was not. I didn't go through that. Oh my God, this could happen. By the time I was 16, I knew it was not going to happen.
Okay.
And I also was fairly confident that I could use middle class exits. In
Yeah,
some
you
way.
thought you had enough privilege to insulate you.
And which is so ridiculous.
Well, but it probably
Yeah.
was true.
Oh, I'm in school. I
Right.
can't.
Sure.
Oh, I'd love to go fight if I wasn't doing a paper on South Vietnam. On the Diem administration, or DM.
I think you had a 4F level of Jewiness that would have kept you out of there.
Well, there's a couple of things. I do think that my heart murmur would have kept me out in
Yeah.
even those days. And I don't know if it would keep you out now, but
Probably.
I love it. But flat feet wouldn't do it, and I'm not too short.
You're not too short?
I don't think.
I'm serious.
Oh my God! I mean, it's like, well, it's bad enough walking around with all the diminutive comments, but him asking in a serious way, and you've actually made me now feel that 5'5.5", I could be too short. I don't know.
Could be.
Look,
Maybe not for World War One.
you're attacking my masculinity. World War One. World War One. If you could walk
Before
you'd have-
vitamins. Oh, and my answer to that question at this point of the year is basketball. That's how I get away from it. Basketball season is starting now, so that's my turn off the news and watch something mindless.
That makes me depressed, actually. Early season I've told you this before, how the squeaks of March Madness will make me depressed before it gets to the finals, because I just hear the squeak, 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 squeak. That's what early season pro basketball sounds like to me.
Just empty squeaking.
Empty squeaking. Because now I should be into the baseball playoffs.
Well, this is the golden time of year for sports. Because football starts, basketball starts, baseball playoffs, hockey for those who are so inclined.
It is kind of the golden time of year. I'll even look past the trite sound of that. Is the trite the right word?
If you want to hurt me, sure. Larry Morrissey says, what would be a good role for Andy on Mrs. Maisel that would help him get on board? How about Lenny Bruce's long-suffering manager?
What do you mean? Lenny Bruce's long-suffering manager is on the show?
No, he's asking a role for you. What would be your role?
I'd be on it in a second. I'd be saying great things about it, and I would try to be destroying all evidence of me putting it down. That's
True
it.
that.
True that.
I believe each beat of that.
Let me, as I say always with things like that, let me finish.
Thomas says, how about a MyPillow yoga pants pitch off?
You know, I think people want us to be clowns now.
Of course they do.
Well, how do you do that? The pitch off between those two. You have to do both, right?
Well, you as you said, you nailed the
Oh, you think so?
you nailed the yoga pants.
They look like, excuse me,
Hey, my friend from down under, what are you bringing here?
they look like.
We're going to slap a tariff on you with your yoga pants that look like dress pants.
No. They look like dress pants, but they aren't.
I don't understand.
They're yoga pants.
Are they machine washable?
This sounds like a bit you would do in grade school.
Maybe, but I'm just trying to please
You
people.
want people to be happy.
Someone
It's different.
Someone
Yeah.
wrote me today to thank me for doing Huell Hauser and Dino the Dinosaur.
Right. So who
I made
am I?
someone happy.
It's pretty good. It's also sad, though.
Stand by your man says, what's your favorite thing to do by yourself while stoned at home and in the world? So it's a two-parter.
I would say I could always watch like a comedy movie or my favorite comedy or something like that and eating. I love to eat when I'm high. Is that the question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What would you say?
I've never been that guy who is like, let me get stoned to do X.
I've been that person. Don't you want to be high to see the movie Let It Be. I had to be high.
I mean,
But I know what you're
yes, we
saying.
would do that, but it wasn't like
We don't get that high.
you were never that high that it was like
No,
such an altering experience.
I was, though. I
Yeah,
took acid for the 7-hour Beatle Festival.
Acid's a different trip.
That is true.
Literally.
You can't do that every day.
No.
Except microdosing.
Very popular with
They're saying it's good for you, but I don't want to. I have a feeling it'll go off the track if I start.
Yeah. I have a feeling your micro might go macro. Matt says, are sexual assaulter comedians' old material still funny? Because to me, fuck chocolate cake and Horace and Pete.
I don't get the question. What's the question?
He's saying, are sexual assaulter comedians' old material still funny? Meaning, does the material lose its funny?
I think everything loses its venom.
That's not great. Got convicted of rape.
What's this?
Supersedes the chocolate cake.
Is that a new song?
No, he was, that was when he said fuck chocolate cake. He was referring to Bill Cosby's chocolate cake bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, but you see, here's the
Then
thing.
I made a spin.
Right.
And it's just,
Here's the thing. I never was a big Bill Cosby fan, and I actually feel like I sensed his hideousness always. In a way.
shut up. Everyone thought he was a pompous asshole at one point.
But I wasn't a big fan of his.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I thought he was great.
Why did you tell me to shut up again? I forgot.
Because you're acting like you were like
The first
once
person?
again the oracle of personal fault.
No. First of all, not only were you wrong in what you think you were saying, you scared me from making the point I was going to make,
Okay.
which was I was never a big fan of his, but the things that I liked of his were like The Cosby Show. I know I enjoyed what I enjoyed, that personality of his, but I never loved the stories and all this kind of stuff, and I always thought he was kind of an ass. But I did laugh at him at one point. He was funny.
Yeah.
And I had a warm feeling about some of the stuff. That's all it is. And that's not what you were saying I was saying. Maybe I just generally come off like an oracle. Well, that's bad.
You come off like Larry Ellison, chairman of Oracle. Measles Howl says, hey guys, loved I Need You to Kill. How do you think Andy's act would go over in Hong Kong? I don't think it would go well yet for him there.
Why?
Just because they don't know
Anything.
They don't know enough about
Oh, no, I can't do
the
this
comedy
act.
that
I can't do
you're
it.
meta-ing, you know?
No, I mean, I could put something together.
I think yes. I think you could
Yeah.
if you did a disciplined version of Andy Kindler,
Right.
you could do fine.
But it wouldn't be fun.
But it wouldn't be, yeah, it's not.
My act is too-
That scene has to mature to understand what stand-up is, to have stand-up be sort of meta presented.
And I also think it's just that my act is, I don't know what the word would be, too colloquial, too much based on knowing the references or the things.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised how many are intact over there. I mean, that was part of what we pointed out in the movie some. But but yeah, there's some shit they aren't going to get. They aren't going to get rhombus space, probably. They aren't going to get.
Yeah, no, there's no question. Even when I went to England to know, it's not that it's a big revelation, but that they didn't know Howie Mandel was, that they don't even really know who Bill Maher is. Right. They don't even really know who David Letterman is, in terms of that they got it every day. They never got that show every day.
Right.
Or any show like that every day. I don't think they got Johnny Carson either. So that's a country that maybe everyone loved Johnny Carson, but it wasn't a country that was brought up on the talk show.
No, because they had their own.
Yeah, but I don't know that their own was ever as powerful as, like, never had their Johnny Carson or their David Letterman.
Well, they did. They had David Frost. They had.
That's true. You know what?
Absolutely.
I'm
did.
tired of trying to make any arguments because I don't have anything to back it up.
Graham North.
No, they were just telling me, Graham Norton.
Norton, rather, yeah.
Well, but they were telling me recently. That's what these people were telling me. So I was basically parroting what they were saying, was that it's a different feel.
What the fuck do they know about their country?
Good point. It's a good point.
Although I have to say, there was this guy in my movie who was, funnily enough, like the comic who dies all the time. That Chinese kid. Do you remember that kid? You don't remember the movie. You don't remember anything.
What? No, I like. One of the acts, you mean?
Yeah.
Who is weird? One of the weirder acts?
Kind of a weirder act, and he always was eating it. And he talked about how he dies the most.
I got you, how he dies the most.
But I was talking to him off stage, huge Andy Kindler fan from the internet.
I think I know which one he is. Kind of makes, like, faces? Or he's downtrodden?
Well, I mean, he's working hard to fail in broken English.
That's good. I do work hard to fail.
Professor Snack says, what person in comedy would you say influenced you the most in each of the last 4 decades? I've never, influence questions don't ring with me, because I feel like I've always been influenced by everything.
Yeah, except going right back to that last question, I would say heavily Letterman influenced in the 80s because I watched that show every night.
You know what was funny? It was I was because I was talking to Meryl Marco today, who was the original head writer of Letterman, and really gushing over the influence of Letterman, and how massive an influence it had on both 80s comedy and, like every late night talk show now is descended from Letterman, not Carson.
And you could argue she's half responsible for it.
Absolutely.
They kind of shared a sense of humor in a way.
Absolutely. And she was the one who made the show go.
Stupid pet tricks and
regardless of who invented what, but she helped invent the vibe.
Yeah. And she had the same vibe. Not the same vibe, but it would just meld together.
They brought a deconstructiveness to TV that hadn't been there before.
Yeah.
And it was just at a time, where TV had been around long enough for people to start knowing what, it's exactly what I was talking about Hong Kong. It's like TV had been around long enough at that point so that people understood what the conventions were, so you could start picking them apart and people would recognize you were doing that.
Yeah.
Much the same way in Hong Kong, they need to see more comedy before you go over there and start picking apart conventions.
Right. That makes sense.
So I just think the Letterman show was such a huge influence on everything that came with it, including then the next wave of TV, which I think included like Mystery Science and The Simpsons.
Right. And I would say that I was too young to appreciate Johnny in his prime, although I love it. But to me, Saturday night, SNL was a big thing. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think, SNL and, SNL was still a baby boomer thing at the beginning. It was still by baby boomers for baby boomers, really. But, it felt to me like Letterman was like the first handoff.
Right.
Like Letterman was a baby boomer's gift to Gen Xers, my generation of, and slightly older and slightly younger,
But they both shared the same sentiment of not ready for prime time and making fun of, I think Letterman and Saturday Night both made fun of, of authority and making fun of themselves and just the idea of we're putting on a show.
Well, yeah. And Carson, even when it was at its edgiest, to use a bad word,
right,
was always very much reverent of show business.
Yeah, that's true.
It existed very much as part of the Hollywood establishment, and it was part of the machine. Carson was part of a promotional tour and part of, of everyone's showbiz life.
Right, but when I was watching that,
but Letterman was outside of that. Letterman
was outside.
Completely did, and part of that was that was necessity.
They couldn't do the Johnny Carson thing.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to. They were forbidden from having a sidekick. They were forbidden from doing a straight monologue. They were forbidden from certain things. But those kind of restrictions can make you more creative too.
I would say that there could be nobody more influencing than influencing than Letterman and Saturday Night Live and also SCTV. I kind of like all those things kind of melt, like Eugene Levy, Martin Short.
But that's what I mean, is that there isn't, you can't say this person, then this person, then this person, because that's not how it works.
They all seemed like it was part of one movement to me.
It was all, it was all part of one generation's expression, for sure,
The thing that you'll catch if you watch the Johnny Carson shows, which I really recommend people watch, and I'm not saying like trying to be the oracle, but the thing about it is that those Johnny Carson shows you get the subversiveness sometimes is when they're just talking in such a relaxed atmosphere that they're not pitching a thing, or they're just able to open up more. Because that anniversary show I saw, I mean, Buddy Hackett, I never knew he was funny. I would not know that he was funny if it wasn't for those
That's
Johnny
amazing to
Carson
me
shoes.
that you didn't know Buddy Hackett stuff.
I knew it only in the most stereotypical way of him making faces on Mad, Mad, Mad World and showing up on things like that. I think maybe I just missed him because I saw everything Gleason did, so maybe it was just...
Yeah. Hackett is younger than Gleason.
Yes, true. Yeah.
I mean, Hackett was in the clubs in the 60s, whereas Gleason was in the 50s and 40s.
A lot of this might have to do with the fact that I grew up wanting to be a musician.
Yeah.
So I didn't grow up.
That may be, yeah. I was definitely tuned into comedy throughout my whole childhood.
Yeah, so I wasn't as tuned into some of that stuff. But, yeah.
Yeah, I forget that. I mean, I don't forget it because we talk about it all the fucking time. But I forget it in terms of growing up, that you didn't grow up.
I always
think of you as a comedy being.
Right.
Like, I think of you as someone who has to do stand up.
Yeah, which I would say is true now.
Yeah. But, and there aren't that many people I think of like that, where it's just like, no, that is, without that, Andy's lost.
And I could never have imagined that's what it would be.
But so therefore I imagine that going back to 2-year-old Andy,
right.
just waiting to be,
yeah,
a shtick waiting to happen. But you weren't. You were a song waiting to happen, and then you changed courses.
Yeah, well, it all seems so, again, the positive side of therapy is when you do understand why you felt the way you did, it's definitely helps yourself in terms of healing it or dealing with it, because at least you're not lost. Like, I was lost in my 20s, just feeling bad about myself.
Yeah.
And not able to get out to say, you know what your problem is? You're too concerned about what other people think.
Right.
I didn't know that. I just felt so competitive that I never felt like we're all in this together. And even when I got into comedy, you could feel lonely even in that thing.
Right.
But I do feel like when I got into comedy, it began the first thing where I knew the people in the field and felt like part of a generation and part of something. I never felt that with music because I didn't do it long enough.
Right, and music isn't as generous personally. Musicians don't enjoy hanging with each other as in that same way that comics do.
I always feel like they did, like in the Laurel Canyon days and in the,
well, some did.
Some did, right? Yeah.
Groups of them did, but it's it's a different kind of.
But they could be more. There's
more competition in terms of just the interpersonal thing.
Yeah, like once I was Dave Alvin.
Yeah,
he was at some. I think it may have been that Super Ball thing, and he was just talking. And I forgot even what the context was, but he was talking about his band and this other band that was there. And I said, "Oh my God, there's more competition. There can be a lot of competition."
Yeah.
In music. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise. But like there's more of a sports thing in a way of we're going to beat you. We're going to beat the band. Like what did they have in the 50s and 60s? The Battle of the Bands?
Yeah.
It just created more of a sense of people who were because one time Dave Alvin told me that he got in a lot of trouble because he was in England and he just started mouthing off.
Yeah.
And then it just got all in the papers and he didn't realize because that's what the Blasters were like. They were part of that thing with X and all these. They were kind of like, brats.
Yeah.
And then in England, he didn't realize that they'll eat you alive.
Yeah, British press will stir up any shit they can find. Any shit they can find.
Yeah.
But I was talking. You were talking about your 20s, and it was. I was talking about this the other day with Allison because of my weird trajectory. It's like my 20s were easy. Like my 20s were like my easiest decade.
That's weird. Yeah. Do you really feel that way, even though you moved? Oh, because you had a lot of success.
Yeah, I was like at my most ambitious, but I was also super young and people wanted to help me and I found a succession of jobs and I met my wife and I bought a house and, I did all this shit in my 20s.
Wow.
And, it's like now I'm having that, what the fuck do I do period in my mid 40s, but, But yeah, so my life was different than a lot of people's in terms of that rhythm.
It's the opposite of
but
my life.
I also think the other thing that changed was my dad died, and then I was just really thinking of how profoundly that kind of affected me in a weird way, in that, you know, he died at 52, and while I felt that he got screwed time-wise, I felt like he lived a whole life regardless, you know, and so to be able to examine his whole life at that age and go, okay, well, he was a brilliant guy, wasn't that didn't have material ambition, had intellectual ambition, you know, but he didn't die regretting not having more money. He didn't die regretting not being, you know, a bigger name lawyer or whatever. And he had 800 people at his funeral. You know, it was like, and it took a ton of steam out of my ambition, just the pure ambition, as being an answer for happiness, you know, because I saw my dad make choices in his life that were like, towards happiness. You know, he left his huge law, you know, he had joined this firm and was a partner. And then over the years, this firm grew into this giant sort of law corporation that he was a partner in, but didn't want to be in a giant law corporation, you know? And so he pulled out and went to a much smaller firm with a few of his friends and enjoyed practicing so much more, you know, with less money on the table. But, you know, and when he died, they treated him like beautifully and treated my mom beautifully because he was in a place surrounded by people instead of a corporation, you know? And so that, you know, and when you look at my career, those are the choices I've made. When I get bored, I leave. I move towards happiness, you know? And when I get really up, you know, this last 10 years, it was really like I got frustrated of not being able to make my own shit, you know? And so I made that move, you know? And I really see the pattern now of where that thinking came from. And I really do think a lot of it, that was a pivotal experience to be able to see my dad's whole life. Yeah. And go, okay, you know, there's good lives come in many forms, you know, but, you know, the things that made him happy were real and not ephemeral.
Well, it probably contributed to your early success is what you're saying too.
Maybe.
I mean, that makes it sound petty, but in other words, like, I always think that everyone's life is like my life, but not everyone's life is like mine. I was absolutely miserable when I was 21 and couldn't even figure out why I was miserable. I just was like a walking ego. You know, I had done acid and I'd done all these like self-discovery things, but I was so needy and so hurting that I can't imagine. I would have had to have had success thrust on me in many ways because I was kind of a mess and I was coming out and I felt like we were all coming out of the Vietnam time period, all this kind of stuff. But you had a different life. You know, it's like you had a lot of confidence. You didn't think
I had a shocking amount of confidence, like an unbelievable amount of confidence.
But that
to do all that shit and to travel the country doing one-nighters at fucking 16 and 17, you know, and then moving out here at 20. It's like I don't even see that in me anymore. You know, that kind of just blind ambition and certainty and confidence of just, you know, I have creative confidence now. You know, I have great self-esteem when it comes to like what I'm able to do. Right. But the desire to go out every night and be in the thing and be part, you know, to want it that bad, you know, that part feels foreign to me now. Yeah. But, you know, I'm glad I had it in me. But I also had this, like, you know, it took a long time to get negative messages for me. You know, it's like I started doing stand-up at 15 and people, like, accepted me right away as a peer, which was like, you know, then, like, suddenly high school became my fucking day job, you know. Yeah. And I had this real world to exist in. And then, you know, so it was a couple of years of that, moving up the ranks pretty quickly in stand-up, and then Mystery Science Theater happened, and then, you know, when that kind of fell apart for me, that was like my first defeat. That was like my first genuine.
And you already had more success than most people have.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think so.
I
don't
didn't
even like to get it on that level.
There was no money or fame at that time,
Right.
but it was still just like a palpable progression.
And you were doing what you wanted to do.
I kept going up. Yeah. And I'm like, and I'm only 17. This is fantastic, And so, and my ego was fucking huge, and I was unbearable, apparently.
You think you were?
I think I was for a time, yeah, because I was just a know-it-all, because I just...
That wasn't my image when I first met you, so that must have been
that was
a few years after.
That was way later, yeah. And it was, and that was it. I mean, it was a very humbling experience, because, we talk about me leaving Mystery Science Theater, but the option was not there for me to stay. Right. So, it was, and so... I had to, that was like, my first failure. And, it took a while to kind of recalibrate after that, but I was also like still blind, incredibly ambitious. And I went back to stand-up world where I was treated like a peer again,
Yeah.
And the people who I was arrogant to forgave me. But it was, I don't remember my initial point even, but
I think
talking about how my 20s were,
and also that your dad's death had an effect on you.
Yeah,
and I can theorize about it a lot.
But the final point of that, and the thing that was affirming about all of that, was when I got cancer, and was like, had to go, if I die, how do you feel?
Right.
And I didn't have regrets for any of my choices. I really felt like I had always made choices towards happiness, and it wasn't like I'm not famous enough or I'm not rich enough. It was really like, no, I think you've done, if this is it, then you made good choices.
Well, it's unbelievable that the main lesson in life is the most simplest and can sound like the most cliche, which is the be here now and be in the moment now. It's almost always the answer, if not always the answer, is that pain is from wishing things were different and thinking that what's going to happen will make you happy.
Right.
And all of that contentment is all possible within the moment, even with all Trump and everything. And I'm not saying like I'm Tony Robbins, but I keep coming back to breathing and being here and just trying to be happy in the moment.
Right.
And it's like I said, I'm kind of joking in a way, but I am thinking more about death recently. I think it's just my therapist says you just people at my age, you just think about it.
Right.
And because I don't want to be in my 80, I want to live to 100 or 120 or whatever the hell it's going to be. But I don't want to be like 77 saying, okay, now I got to start getting depressed. I don't want to ever be depressed.
Yeah.
But that's also another unreasonable goal. But I want to be able to accept wherever I am. And sometimes that means just like you have to think about it.
Well, and I think the depression comes when you stop having meaning in your life.
Yes. Which is not our show.
No, this is dripping with meaning.
I mean, this show is nothing but meaning.
That's right.
Full.
Like when Greg Kelly says, I'm in a waiting room and it sucks. Doesn't waiting really suck? I was just saying that to myself around 9:10 tonight.
No, I came at 9:06. But here's the thing. I was so proud of myself. Like, more proud of myself than when I come at 9:08.
It was 9:08 on my thing.
I said 9:06 when the thing. The thing is, waiting does suck, and that is also the be here now thing of it. Is like a lot of times I didn't want to be on time. I want to be on time, but I didn't want to be early.
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's like slowing down, getting there early, waiting in the right way, not on a big line. I think it's kind of what it's all about. Maybe. I ran out of things to answer. I'm trying to answer this guy.
You're spraying Eckhart Tolle juice all over me.
Well, waiting on something you shouldn't wait for should never be done.
Right.
Like, I don't want to see the new Star
like my
Wars.
meth dealer.
Yes. I don't want the new iPhone. I don't want anything bad enough to wait hours online for it.
Right.
There's no music that would make me wait online for 24 hours.
Right. Tommy Barcanero wants to know what's the vibe like during the last day on a movie or TV set. Are the goodbyes emotional or awkward? Also, I'm strongly on Josh's side on the John Oliver discussion from Test Show 72. I would love to see Andy and John become friends one day.
Well, I don't think we're not friends. I think a lot of my stuff is based on my own. First of all, John Oliver took over my set when I had my appendix removed. So I'm always happy he did that. And I don't have but I do have certain. I do like.
You had nothing but venom for him last time.
I don't like him for some reason, and so I would be lying to say. But here's the thing: I don't like him, but I absolutely know that my own attitude blocks me from liking him sometimes.
Yeah.
I also don't like that kind of format anymore that much.
Right.
The Daily Show format.
Weren't you pitching a show like that recently?
Shut up.
But you were.
What do you mean?
You were pitching an Andy news show.
No. That would be that was a total takeoff on the news. It wasn't. It would be like a parody show of the news.
How does
that have?
Not necessarily the Andy take on the news.
I like when you sound like you've discovered something, but you still haven't. Did you discover it? Did you catch me?
I was going, how clever. A spin on the news. You really broke it open, that was my attitude.
Yeah, but that's better. I'm not saying that would have been a good show, but it'd be a better show than someone yelling into a mic like you could watch on The Daily Show and the John Oliver Show.
But they're different. I think they're different. I mean, I do think that the deep research that they do on the John Oliver Show makes it a different thing.
Yeah, but okay, here's what I will say. I think you'd have to be. I don't think I would ever fall in love with this guy's delivery. He's just too over the top.
Okay. I honestly have zero stake in getting you to like him.
No, I think you might. You might have more than zero stake.
No, zero.
What if he wants
stake.
to work with us on something?
Well, and I'll throw you under the bus and
good.
Find someone funny. But the real question he had was about the vibe like on the last day of a movie or TV set. It really depends on the how the production went for the most part, and if you're canceled or if it's the last episode or if it's But in general, everyone acts like they're family now and will never see each other again in reality.
Well, I mean, I was there when Raymond left the air on their own. They didn't. They could have stayed on the air, and I felt like a little bit lonely. Like I always felt, again, because of what I was going through at the time and how I felt about myself.
Right.
I didn't feel like this is my show, my family. I mean, I felt like I was in the family, but I was a relative that they wouldn't always visit.
It's kind of like when the production went well, like a movie production. It's like summer camp ending. Everyone is teary and huggy and and making plans that they'll never keep to see each other again.
I mean, I would say that any group, and I've been around a lot of shows, like I was around Wizards of Waverly Place when that ended.
Yeah.
I would say a lot of shows really do have, on any show, you do get this family type thing, which is a very cool feeling.
Right.
But it's more so, I think, for the people who've been there for years and years. I've never been on a show that went for years.
Freaks and Geeks was the only show that we had that the entire company felt a sort of,
and that couldn't have been
love. And a lot of it was just because there was all these kids there that we had to sort of
shepherd through, or you saw them grow.
Yeah, you saw them grow and, had some protective qualities for them. And so like our closing party was like a prom. It was a fake prom.
Oh, that's great. That show will last historically as a milestone show.
Yeah, it just left Netflix today.
How come?
I don't know, because things rotate out.
Oh.
Prush says, does self-deprecation humor come with insult humor or the other way around? Is self-deprecating humor a license for insult humor? Like I find I tend to use self-deprecating humor as a way to prepare someone for insult humor that comes after.
That's I couldn't say it better myself. It's a form of self-deprecation. It's like you can be as hard on yourself as you could be on someone in insult humor.
Right.
But it's in the same family.
Yeah, but Don Rickles didn't do a lot of self-deprecating.
Where does it say talk show host tops Jewish guy? He was always saying, like, when Johnny got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, or, like he would.
Yeah, but that was putting him down, sort of, still.
Yeah, kind of. I just think, like.
I'm just bringing up an interesting
No,
side
you're right.
note. I don't think it's a rule. I think in your case, that probably is how you do it.
Yeah, Don Rickles, I would not say is generally a self-deprecating comic.
Yeah, he did not show vulnerability.
No, he didn't. Because his whole thing was like, I'm going to insult you and I'm going to tell you I love you.
Right. Mark Thompson says, do either of you still carve Halloween pumpkins? No.
No. But there's a house that's already decorated near you.
Oh, there's always that house
Fantastic.
that's decorated by us.
Makes you feel bad and good.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Here are some plot themes from Lost Andyland episodes. Alternate title, Strangers with Andy. Number 1, Andy debates paying someone to punch him in the face by surprise. 2, Andy delays going to all his doctors for 20 years and needs a full round of tests.
Is this a show?
It's Yoshi's pitch.
Well, I think I am going around to doctors I should have gone around to. Nothing can top. I have no ideas anymore about what I should do. It's over. The Andy Kindler show. This is the only show I have.
Funny news.
You're making me. It's not like even you're making me sad, but the more you say it, the more you say it, the more I just see why it's been so hard to sell that show. Because the first demo tape we made was so funny, but it doesn't seem to translate to a pitch.
Yeah. Derek Faraci says, if Andy got a sitcom, who would make up the supporting cast? Josh, would you be on it, or would you rather run the writer's room? Honestly, that's a tough question.
Yeah.
Because I've always considered, like, second lead on a sitcom to be the best job in show business.
Yeah, I think it would be.
the best job in show business.
Yeah.
But I would also feel if you got a sitcom as the lead, I would feel a responsibility to make it the best show possible. So I'd probably run the writer's room.
I don't want to say that we'll cross that bridge, but part of me does feel like, well, if that becomes a problem, that's a nice class of problems to have.
Yeah, I don't think they're asking it as a problem, right?
I don't know what I'm saying.
All right, I've lost the will to live. Let's.
You lost the what?
I've lost the will to live.
I have. This is the longest show I think we've ever done.
It's up
3
there.
hours?
It's
You're in
approaching.
trouble, my friend.
It's approaching.
If you want to write to us, please write to us at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com.
Excellent work, my friend.
And the only reason why I got that so easy is because I was answering some emails. Also, don't forget to go to iTunes and rate us. It really is important that you rate us. We don't want bad reviews because who needs it? And then also you should buy Josh Elvis Weinstein's I Need You to Kill. Am I wrong about that?
You're not wrong about that, but you don't have to buy it if you're an Amazon Prime member. It's streaming for free.
And again, you could see Josh Elvis Weinstein on the 15th.
On the 15th at Largo with Chad Daniels from I Need You to Kill.
And check back with me on Twitter to see if I'm ambulatory.
Yes.
And
also Acme Comedy Club.
When is that?
October 16th through 20th.
Yeah. And check your local listings from me. I love you, Josh.
I love you too.
I'll see you
Andy.
next week.
Is that it?
I think so.
Okay.
Unless there's something else that you've forgotten. Regrets? I've had a few. I blew it. You could have had a clean out.
I could have had a clean out.
You had a clean out. I think that's it for me.
You did it your way.